everybody, Carl here. And what do we have going? Well, let's see. We got a phone that's playing some YouTube okay because it's from our library music. And we're listening through our little Sony. And it's on FM. And where's that coming from? It's coming from our little board here. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, this wasn't. This one wasn't a gimme. And we'll have an FM transmitter. No. I had to do some work on this one. Now the schematic I kind of went by, it kind of is like the one I showed you in the last video, but I did a little fine tuning on it, and let me turn this down, and I've got it right here, and we're gonna, if you can see it, we're gonna go over that in just a second, because I'm gonna show you some parts, but there's some other things I wanted to show you here too. Now, I had mentioned before about using a 1/4-inch bolt with the 20 thread, right? And that's what we have right there. We've got a 1/4-inch bolt, and it's got the coarser threads, the 20 threads per inch. When I was doing this earlier, I could not get that to oscillate to save me. So what I did is I stepped back and I got a 3/16 bolt, okay, and I wound that. And I mean, let's get kind of close. That's what we have there. And I set it back up a little bit different too. Originally I had it all up here on this edge, and it wasn't working. So I moved it all down where it is now, and I even put the pieces even a little closer together. But if you notice, first of all, there's no antenna on this. I've got it. It's coming off of this capacitor right here. And that's it for right now. So, and it's not very powerful at all. I can tell you that. It's like Don mentioned in one of the last videos. It's low power right now. We can change that, but for right now, what we want to do is we want to put something together with pieces that we have for the most part, and get it to transmit, and we're kind of doing that at the moment. So, but I'm going to show you something now. This is the 1/4-inch. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something here. Okay, here we go. Once again, same phone playing, same radio. Only now, well, it's the same breadboard, but look at our coil. Look, yeah, you can't move around a lot though, for goodness sakes. There's one we just had in, and that's the 1/4-inch, and now we've got the 3/16. Now here's something cool. One of the schematics that I was looking at, which is it's in a different book, calls for almost this same circuit. It's a little bit different, and it calls for a 1/8 bolt, and with the coil wrapped around it. And one thing about the 1/8 inch is that a lot of the IF coils, that the little ferrite rod inside of them, is 1/8 inch threaded. So technically you could pull one of those out and insert it like the bolt is here. And that's just something to think about. But it shows that, you know, you can switch things out. Now, what I want to do is I want to get a list together here for you on the parts that I have at the moment. And believe me when I tell you that I went through some stuff. If you can look back here, I mean, that's just stuff that I was laying, and I tried all different sorts of things. And we'll try some more too. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get one that I think that most people would have the parts for, and that would work, and that you could actually get it going. I've been working on this one quite a bit actually, because I just, for that fact, you know, I want us to all have fun on this. Now I'm gonna bring this around. We might lose the reception moving it, but I'm going to show you how everything is put together. All right, and I think I'm going to put this on macro. Get down here close if I can. Okay, now I'm just using a generic NPN, nothing big there. Okay, and you see I've got, and the resistor is pulling double duty. It's also my ground for my my plug, my plug, so I can tap in. In the same way with the capacitor. The capacitor's pulling duty. I've got, you know, these are the gator clips that goes, well, I'll show you. Goes to that right there. And that goes up to there. See, pretty cool, huh? Now, one thing, if I want to run my little light, which you can see over here, if I plug that in, well, it'll come through. I'll show you, because I don't have a capacitor over there. So, can you hear it? It sounds like we brought in the seagulls. Which almost sounds like it's part of the song, but it's not. Okay, I'll pull that out. I need a cap over there. Like on my board, the one that I showed you before, I've got a cap next to that, so it doesn't do that. But this is the way I've got this set up right now. And I'll give you a list of the parts I have, and plus I'll give you a schematic of this one here. So, and you can copy it exactly, and if you get it going, then you can swap as you want. You know, and we'll be doing that. We'll try to make this a little bit stronger, and we'll try some different parts in it. But I just, like I said, I want to see you guys, you know, throw something together that works, because it really is a lot of fun. I mean, it really is a lot of fun. So, okay, let me get back with you here in a second. Okay, guys, I'll try to go over this as best as I can. First of all, and if you have problems, you know, I mean, most of you, I'm sure, you know, you've been reading schematics forever, and, you know, ones that are like real neat and other ones that are like slopped together. And this one's kind of a slop together on a whiteboard, but you should get the idea, you know. Okay. NPN transistor, like I said, 2N, 2222, 9604, any of those. I grabbed several of them. I mean, they're just, you know, try them. Okay, the coil. I just showed you. You can either use a 1/4 inch bolt or a 3/16. I would wrap it 6 to 8 times and hang on to that bolt, and you can actually screw that bolt in and screw it out, and you can adjust, as you go. Okay, the stuff in red, this is later on if you want to put a microphone in and have it so you can pick up your voice and broadcast it, or if you want to make a spy bug, you can get into all that, but that's for a microphone. Okay, what we're using is the input right here at this junction right here. Okay, now and then all these values are what we used on what you just saw. A 1 microfarad electrolytic, positives over here, negatives here. We've got a 1 nanofarad, 0.001 capacitor right here, a 33K resistor right here. I originally had 39, and I think that's what I used in the other one. I didn't have one. I found a 33, it worked fine. Down here, I've got a 100 ohm resistor that goes on the emitter. Then, on the collector, we have our coil, and then we have this junction, and part of our tank circuit is I used a 10 picofarad. Mess with it, try an 8, try a 12, because we're making this adjustable. We can actually, you can play around with this part of it. And then we've got the 10 picofarad, and you can use an 8 or 12, whatever, as a stabilizer right here between the collector and the emitter. And then going out, and right now we don't even have an antenna. We just have the 22 picofarad capacitor going out. So in case, if we do want to hook up one, and remember, excuse me, when you hook that antenna up, it affects the circuit, especially with just a single transistor transmitter. A lot of things can affect this circuit and how it oscillates and what frequency it oscillates. So if you put an antenna on and go, oh, I've lost it, well, fish around the dial. And you might have to go down a bit, oh, there it is now, or go up a bit. When we were just doing this, I had this on, I think, 6 volts. I tried it at 3 volts. It worked. It worked. It wasn't very, it wasn't hardly putting out anything. And it worked at 4.5. I like running these at 6 volts. And the nice thing about it, you can kick it up to 9 if you want to put like a 9-volt battery in there. You can do that. And they'll run fine on that too. But, and here's another thing. You add power, you're changing the circuit a bit, and you might have to readjust. Just keep that in mind. And don't give up. Don't go through it once or twice and go, oh, it's not here, it's not working. You got to be patient with this. You really, excuse me, like screwing that little screw in and out. You might set it on an area where there isn't any stations, and you might have to turn it just a little bit, and then a little bit, and all of a sudden you might hear something go shh, and if you turn it more than that, stops. And and being on a breadboard, sometimes just wiggling it, well, it'll come in and go out, because these aren't the most stablest things. They're real hard to push in. Sometimes you think, well, that's grabbing it really hard. But it isn't really. You sometimes got to wiggle things around, and I'm always constantly, I make sure I re-push things down to make sure they haven't come up a bit. You just have to take your time, and you got to be patient. I'm telling you, because I never was a patient person, and over the years I've learned that you just have to control that. But when you do, And if you take your time and finally when you hit it, you start dialing it in, it's really worth it. It's such a great feeling to build one of these from scratch and all of a sudden you're transmitting. It's working for you. You know, or else I just might be weird and crazy about these things and everybody else is going, you know, he's crazy about those things. But, you know, I'm just telling you, uh, if you're patient and take your time, and like I said, if you look here, let me turn on macro again. If you look how close, I really put these in close. I mean, I got them jammed in. Here's the 33 K resistor. You know, here's the 110 pico. I've got that right in front of the transistor. You know, it's laying right on it. It's like everything's real super close. The only thing I did is I used a couple of these wires and I brought the power over. And a lot of times that's not as big of a deal. If you know, because like I said, you know, whether the power is here or there, it's when it's running in between the different components, it makes a big deal. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna try to cut this off here, and I'm gonna turn you loose on this. Um, you know, when you start working on it a little bit, just play with it a little bit, and then you know, in the comments, you know, kind of let us know what's going on, because I mean, it isn't just me. I mean, we're all kind of in this together, and we all want to hear how everybody's doing. So, you know, give a shout out. Like you get one working, yeah, yell it out, you know, or do a video on it. Say, hey, look what I did, you know, because I mean it's cool. All right, guys, we're gonna excuse me, we're gonna get into this a little bit more, and I'm gonna swap more parts out. I wanted to put something together that would work, that I could give you a schematic that you know if you put these parts here and work with it, it should work for you. And that's what I wanted to do first, and I wanted to do it out of parts that I had. I did not buy one thing, and I don't have a big selection. I mean, I don't have, not anymore. I haven't really been, you know, restocking like I should. So a lot of these are, you know, just from my old the drawers and that. And but the one, you know, and the nice thing about it, a lot of them are common. You know, 100 ohms, uh, 1 microfarad. You know, I mean, these are pretty common, which. The only thing, I don't know how many people have like the small picofarad ceramic discs, but, you know, and they're gettable. So, okay, guys, I'm going to shut up here and I'm going to be working on the next video for us. And maybe down the road, and I'm not promising anything, but maybe we'll do a live show where we can have this and you know, you guys can come on and we'll talk about it live and kind of discuss this. Now, like I said, that'll be a bit down the road once we all did a little bit of this. And, you know, nothing's set in stone. But, okay, guys, have a good one. Have a lot of fun. I'll talk to y'all later.